right. All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, July 26th, 2022. It is now 10:31. Meeting of the Town of Dudley, Mass. Economic Development Committee is in session. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, everybody. Good to see everyone. So we may have Ellen coming in, and we don't know the status of Joanne. However, we'll start up. The first order today, we have a discussion of the revitalization of the Packard Mill, 137 Schofield Ave. We're very fortunate enough to have Jim Keogh of Glickman, Cavago, and Jacobs here with us. Welcome, Jim. If you'd like, the floor is yours. We'd love to hear about what's going on. I know that's a building that, as long as I can remember, has, I think we've been hoping that something gets done with it. So,
Okay.
Welcome.
You'll have to forgive me in advance. I didn't prepare a speech.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah, so I've been listing that building for, I want to say it's about 8 months now. We've had a lot of interest from a varying pool of candidates, whether it's industrial redevelopers, housing developers, owner users, people who just want to store their things in it, really the full spectrum. I guess at this point, the owners have decided to auction the property. So we're auctioning it through what's called 10X, which is a professional auctioning platform, and is it's owned by CoStar, which is the commercial version of MLS, and they own the 10,000-pound gorilla in the commercial world. In any event, we're set to auction on August 9th, and I think it runs from August 9th to August 11th. So basically, we've had over 2,700 people visit the page, and we've had about 14 to 15 really qualified users sign confidentiality agreements and get into our data room, which is where we have all of the info on the property. We have some reporting that's being done with the environmental, the property inspections, things like that. We should be getting that back this week. But I guess this is more of just a roundtable discussion of what the Economic Development Committee foresees as being a potential outcome of this, and I'm open to any suggestions of how you want to approach discussions leading up to the auction and thereafter.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I know you guys are one of the biggest and, most successful commercial brokerage firms around. So, having you guys in the mix is a huge plus, I think, for the town, and trying to think about what's going to be going on. I don't know, as a committee, I know we've been around for a while. Does anybody have any ideas or thoughts in regards to, what possibly the town, what our committee can do?
Well, I'm curious about the condition of the building. I know there was some water damage in there. Is the building salvageable, in your opinion? Can it be reused and repurposed? It's a
tough question to answer. Personally, I think that it's better off to be torn down, just because there's so much land there, and there are parts of it that are really in bad shape, but there are parts of it that look beautiful. So it's hard to say, I don't want the building to be torn down. I'm just trying to think of it from a practical standpoint. I would say about 65 to 70% of the mill section is in really, really nice condition. The basement has a good degree of mold buildup. On a scale of 1 to 4, I'd probably give it a 2 based on what I've seen, but it is kind of diffuse throughout the basement, so that's definitely a concern. But there's also just the typical environmental hazards of an old mill building, including asbestos that's on a lot of the piping. There's some parts of the roof that have suffered some damage over the years, and rot in some of the walls and things like that. So is the building salvageable? I think it is salvageable. Would it be cost effective to salvage it versus knock it down and put up something different? Probably not.
Right.
Interesting.
I think it was doing pretty well when it was before the flood. It had the gym in there and all the other
that's
businesses.
Right.
And a lot of people have always asked me, do you think they're ever going to put the multi-use facility back there again? I'm like, wish I had a magic ball, I can tell you the future, but.
Yeah, yeah. That where that pipe burst is in really bad shape, and then obviously, if that hadn't happened, it would probably still be a fully functioning,
Right.
Cash flowing asset. But at this point, that one room in particular, you can really see the damage it caused. So yeah, I mean, it would be great to get it back to that former glory that it had, because the parts that were clearly tenanted before, and I never stepped foot in the building while it was like fully operational, but I can see where it was fully operational, and it was a nice building. It's a good complex, So if it could be brought back to that former status, that would be ideal. Again, but I mean, you probably know better than anybody as a construction guy, but it just seems like
I agree with you. I would knock it down and put up something new.
Yeah.
I can say I know a lot of people come to us because of our building. I mean, he knows our building. A lot of people come see us on a weekly basis for just dry storage facilities. Or people to put up just like little workshops, 1,500 to 2,000 square foot workshops that actually have a good sized garage door. That could be an idea.
Yeah, it's very.
I can definitely pass a list of people because I kind of keep a list of going, so I can email that to you.
Yeah, we've had sort of an increased interest just across the board in all markets for this sort of like contractor's yard type model where people are putting up, either temporary structures or long-term structures that are more there to fit the mid-sized users. Say like, I'll call it 5,000 to 10,000 square feet, somewhere around that area, and just sort of have a transient in and out space.
Right.
And so, maybe that would be something to consider there. The property is 11 acres of heavy industrial land, which is sort of a hot ticket item at the moment. The industrial asset class and commercial has just been crazy over the past 2 years. So that's really most of the interest, I would say, that's been driven by the listing has come from the industrial market. So if there are options within industrial, given that it's allowed by right, that's probably what I think maybe the highest and best use, especially given the cost of demoing the building or trying to salvage it, which may be even more costly. That's my opinion, but that's also where we're getting the most interest from.
At one point, I know there was some marijuana developers interested in that building. Was that a potential use for that property?
I would say so. I think I defer to all of you because I don't know exactly what's available in terms of licensing and how long that process takes exactly here in Dudley. I've never been through it. But yeah, I mean, I think that we weren't specifically marketing it towards that use, but we did get a number of people who were interested in pursuing it, and we had a group that was really hot to trot for it and seemed to be ready to go, and then they sort of just went radio silent out of nowhere. But
the market is shifting drastically right now. That's for sure.
For those kind of.
It is, yeah. It's becoming more of a you got to be vertically integrated to get anywhere within the market. So if you're going for strictly cultivation, you're probably not going to survive, just because right now the market is flooded with flower and there's not a lot of manufacturers or distributors.
Okay.
So I know, like as us, we're trying to get as vertically integrated as possible through our company right now.
Right.
So
Interesting.
it's and I know that section of town only because our people on Chase Ave have been dealing with. I know the gas and electrical infrastructure is significantly lacking over there because I know Chase Ave people have had some longer than anticipated lead times on getting gas and electrical to feed the facility. So I know that's why I think they're looking at CHP.
They are, right.
So that's just something to look at. I know the electrical and gas infrastructure down there wouldn't carry a large cultivation site.
Large cultivation site. Interesting.
what would you consider large on a
I mean, I would say
100,000
anything
square feet
between
plus?
50 and 100. I'd say anything over
Okay.
50, I don't think it would handle.
But it's got water and sewer, correct? Town water and sewer?
Yeah.
It's got, yeah, the sewer actually goes through Henke's property, then into our old property,
Oh.
into a pump station that pumps into the sewer main. So that would be something to look at too, because if, depending on the sewer usage, they might have to increase that main that flows through the both properties.
Okay.
Because I think it's only a 4-inch main that goes from Henke into our old property at 115 Schofield, because we had to replace it a couple times.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah. You know what, some of those
chopped up over there.
Wow. Now, just in regards to, I mean, how long, I remember, it's when you mentioned that pipe burst or whatever, I remember, because I remember the gym, I think it was the fitness studio was there, and
Yep.
it was a real but it seems like it's been a long time.
2018, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was, what's been, I know you guys have said you've had the listing for like 8 months. What's been going on there since then? I know that the buses get parked there. Are there any other buildings? And, why have, any idea, maybe the town might know in regards to why it's taken this long to have, does it have to do with whoever's the owner of the property in regards to them stepping up
Yeah.
and making some decisions?
My understanding is that after the pipe burst,
Yeah.
the building was vacated,
Yep.
and that's it
They
until
just
this
kind of
point.
walked away from it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they dealt with the pipe,
Right.
and patched it up basically,
Mhm.
repaired it.
Yeah.
But since then, the building sat vacant. There hasn't been a lot of activity,
Hmm.
and I think they've just sort of been carrying the building from the bus company.
Pays the taxes probably enough to keep it, right.
It carries, yeah, right, just carries the building.
Interesting.
That property is in the mill conversion overlay district in the
Mhm.
zoning bylaw, which
Mhm.
provides some flexibility for mixed use.
Mhm.
So not only industrial, but you can do commercial and
Right.
residential in
Mhm.
there. And so that might help in terms of attracting interest in the property.
Housing developer or that type of thing.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of the mill conversion, other than the flexible zoning? Are there other?
That's basically it. It gives
Okay.
you the flexibility to do, primarily residential, but with a mix of commercial. And with the underlying industrial, you can do that as well.
Mhm.
It's just nice to see something happening.
Yeah.
Right.
I get excited when I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I don't care if it's 5 years from now. But
It
something.
is, kind of similar
Yeah, it
how we've
takes a
been
while.
feeling about the Stevens Linen Mill, right? I mean, it's a work in
Right.
progress, but it's
Yeah.
nice to see some of these.
I think they get the ball rolling pretty good over there now, I think.
Do they?
right?
Yeah.
I think so, it sounds like it, right?
Yeah. Now, are there historic tax credits available for that property, do you know?
Not that I know of, but there may be.
It might be something to work on in terms of getting the building on the National Register.
That was a question that came up early on. I have notes on that somewhere from 8 months ago, so I can dig those up and get you an answer on
Because if you
that.
could get tax credits for redevelopment, that might tip the scales a little bit in favor of revitalizing rather than tearing down.
My understanding is that the historic tax credit process takes a really long time and can be expensive to go
Right.
through. So I'm just thinking about the moving pieces. If the building's going to be auctioned, it's probably there's probably a lower likelihood that the buyer will be somebody who's planning to go through the historic tax credit program, because they're probably gonna try and want to steal it at auction, and maybe that's not the plan, the long-term plan moving forward. But nevertheless, I can definitely get you an answer on that, because that was definitely something we talked about very early on, and the timelines have kind of faded over the
Right,
past 8 months,
yeah.
but I know I have them in my database there. So
Yeah, it's eligible for listing on the National Register. It's not currently listed.
right, and I think
So-
I spoke to the chair of the historical commission out
Okay.
here early on,
Mhm.
so I can touch base with him again too.
It's a great point, Bill,
Yeah.
because like PJ said, it'd be nice to see something happen to that, because I remember, I remember it seemed like there was just a lot of activity in that building, back then. So.
Mm.
Anyways, anybody else have any questions for Jim, or? No? Awesome. Jim, thank you so much on behalf
Thanks.
of the committee, and if there's anything that we can, we think of, or anything like that, we'd love to, help you in any way possible.
Thanks, and I just want to round this out, that this would probably be the time to, like, over the past 4 years, this is probably the time to strike the most, because a sort of project like this is something that a lot of people are going after at the moment, and I'm not sure that was the case two and a half years ago, but just with all of the money that's been rolled out with just the federal dollars and the stuff like the PPP programs and things like that, there's a lot of businesses, developers, users who are sitting on some capital
Right.
to go after something that may have been a little bit more outside the box 2 years ago. So I think we're kind of in a good position to strike on this and push. So just want everybody to know that I'm going to push as best I can to get it done in a way that everybody's comfortable with.
I can send you the contact info for the Stevens Mill developer. He's done a number of these kinds of projects.
Is that Camden?
Camden
Properties, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be great.
Since they're already in the area, maybe
Since
they
they're-
would
yeah.
come by and look at it before the auction, just to, you know.
Yeah, I think
Think if that
he's
would
in
work
town
for them.
Thursday.
What's that?
John's in town Thursday.
He is?
Yep.
Okay.
That would be awesome, because I have tried to reach out to them a couple of times, but
Okay.
they're pretty large, and I think they're
Mm.
actually located in another state
Yeah.
entirely.
Yeah, yeah.
They're in
So, yeah, if you have
Carolina,
anything
I
like
think.
that.
Something like that, right?
One of the
South Carolina?
Carolinas,
Yeah,
definitely.
Somewhere in there,
I
north,
figured.
yeah, somewhere down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you, you know, certainly Worcester has done a lot of old factory building conversions.
Mhm.
You must have a database of those kinds of people.
Oh yeah, no, we've reached out to all of
Yeah.
the major mill
Yep.
owners and
Mhm.
developers in Worcester for this project.
Okay, good.
And ultimately, you know, I would say 90% of them were tied up with other have been tied up with other projects
Yeah.
over the past 2 years.
Mhm.
Like we were just saying, this has kind of been an unprecedented time for
Right.
development. So the interest rates were so low
Low, right.
2 years ago, where it was just free money and
Mhm.
everybody was willing to take a stab at, you know, a project that had, you know, half a chance of working out. So, but yeah, no, certainly we've hit all of them up until this point. I think anybody who's seen it, who we've gotten in front of, and who has just like an inkling of interest is going to show up on auction day and hopefully, you know, go
Mhm.
after it. So
Is it live and online, or is it just online only, or the auction?
It's online
Okay.
only.
Yep.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Answer for that, but I don't. To the best of my knowledge, you don't like show up to a room and everybody like
Yeah.
holds up the paddles or
Right,
anything
right.
like
Packed in
that.
would be
But
Show up with a
yeah.
cashier's check or whatever it
I,
is.
that would be awesome if that was
Right.
the case. I've never been to one of those myself, so
Yeah.
I'd probably go just for fun. But
Right.
yeah,
And how's the environmental issues? Is there any contamination or brownfield problems there?
well, we don't know yet for sure. To the best of my knowledge, no. But you know, anything could be on the table with an old mill like that.
Because that would be a deal breaker, I think, if you found something there
Yeah.
that was difficult.
Because it was a paper mill? What was the use of in the
I don't even know.
Yeah, they used to make, it was part of Stevens Linen, right?
I thought
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, they used to,
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, I remember they used to have like the doilies, they used to put on your dinner tables and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that type of stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
My research turned up that it used to be the former Perry Yarn Company.
I'm sorry, the
And
Perry Yarn Company.
I don't
that's
know if
what's
they
listed.
just made yarn or if they
Right,
made
okay.
other products. It's interesting to think about a time when yarn was
Big.
the
Yeah.
product to have,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
different
Interesting.
times.
Right, right.
So,
Jeez.
yeah.
Well, if you have any, you know, questions or things the committee can do, I think,
Mm.
you know, we'd be really interested
Definitely.
in doing whatever we can to advance that project.
Mhm. I can send. I mean, if you're interested, anybody can watch the auction live. So if you want to just, I think it takes place maybe in the middle of the day or later on at night. But you can just throw it up on your screen and watch as people bid
Right.
if it's something that you're interested in doing. So I can
We'll
circulate
have
a
to see who gets it, what their
Mm.
plan is.
I can circulate a link to that if anybody's interested in watching.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
And Bill, you said you were going to email over our contacts over at Camden Properties
Yes.
as well? That'd
Yeah.
be awesome. All right. I mean, if anybody doesn't have any other questions, Jim, I can't thank you enough for the update.
Thank you.
I mean, you're more
Thank
than
you.
welcome to stay, but I know you're probably very busy, so really appreciate you stopping by. And like I said at the beginning, knowing that your company, you know, Glickman, Cavago, and Jacobs are involved, we know that we got, you know, one of the big players. If anybody can move the property, you guys can. So
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
All right.
everyone.
Yep. Nice to
Jim,
see you.
just for people that might be watching
Mhm.
the tape, do you want to give them your contact information?
Sure. Is that the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. Website is Glickman Cavago, KOV as in Victor, AGO.com. That's GlickmanCavago.com. I'm Jim Keogh. Last name is spelled KEOGH. And my email is jkeogh@glickmancavago.com. And since my cell phone's posted everywhere on the internet, I'll give you my cell phone number too, which is 774-239-5151.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Bill.
you, Jim.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. Next up on the agenda, we did have the Agricultural Advisory Commission update. Ellen, who's not here, I don't know if there's any other member of the committee. I was unfortunately unable to go.
I wasn't able to go.
Was anybody else able to
It seemed to
attend?
be a last-minute
It did, didn't it?
notice, and
Right.
I don't think we had enough time to,
Yeah.
Plan accordingly.
yeah. And I
Right.
think we wanted to try to meet as a committee, as sort of a joint meeting perhaps, rather than just show up at one
Just
of
show
their
up
meetings.
and, yeah,
So hopefully we can pull that off and get,
right.
a couple members
Thank
from
you, Jim.
both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
If I remember correctly, do they meet monthly?
I believe so.
So I thought there might be, she had mentioned something about if we weren't able to, maybe we could do something in August, or I know summertime is pretty difficult with everybody's vacation schedules and things of that nature, so maybe that's probably a better idea to see if we can, as a committee, do something with them together.
Mhm.
All right, then that brings us to the town planner update, Bill. Any other, I know we just talked about a lot regarding the property down on Schofield, but any other current development activity that you'd like to update?
Well,
the-
as John mentioned, the Chase Mill DMA Holdings project has submitted an application for a combined heat and power
Okay,
facility. So that's currently being circulated to town departments. We'll have the hearing in September
in September?
for that project. And, as John was mentioning, electricity is a major cost factor in these facilities and water usage, so this is a way
Temperature
to
control and all sorts of other, can't even.
save a
Yeah, it's a way
significant
to gain
amount of money.
electricity, and it helps create the water through the steam to fertigate the plants rather than, taking so much from the municipal system.
So we'll be giving that a careful review. It's in, residential areas, so we want to be sure it doesn't impact the neighborhood.
I believe
So-
it's similar to the one that's over at IPG Photonics.
Okay,
I don't know if they mentioned that. I told them that'd be a good thing.
Okay.
If someone wants to drive over there, they can see it. It's-
Okay.
is that the new development that's going in there? No?
It's right before their main entrance. You'll see there's kind of like these, I don't know, like precast concrete walls,
Yep.
kind of. It's within there.
Oh,
They
wow.
did it more for a visual aspect. I think it does offer some sound deafening, but it's more visual. But if
Oh.
you go in there, you'll see them. They're just these big, like Connex boxes with
Right.
heat exchangers on them.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Nichols College came in for a residential development, 52 units off of Center Road by their athletic field. And we had the public hearing at the last meeting, and the neighborhood is kind of upset about it. They raised a number of points of concern. So we continued the hearing. The college's consultants are going to try to come back with some modifications to address their concerns.
Where is it going?
I think it's up behind.
Yeah, I'm
like,
trying,
up-
it is, it's behind, it's in the sort of northwest side of Center Road. There's an athletic field up there, which is vacant. It goes up a hill, there's a big parking lot nearby.
Okay.
Oh, by lot M, I think it is.
N.
Yeah, N? Yeah.
That
Okay.
one up on top.
The one that we built a few years back? Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
They were talking about maybe.
And these were for like
They call it
single-family
a
residential homes?
townhome
Okay.
Yeah.
facility. There were two
Student
buildings.
housing.
Yeah, student housing. Yeah.
Two buildings with 26 units each, so 52 altogether.
Oh, wow, okay.
Their thinking is that it's what the students want today, is that kind of living as opposed to a conventional corridor or dormitory kind of
Yeah.
facility. So they're trying to respond to the market to make the college attractive for new students. They said they have 1,000 beds, but only 755 of them are occupied. And this facility is intended to replace a couple of temporary modular types of buildings
Right.
that they had built or
The ones over by
erected.
Remillard Hall and stuff like
So
that. Yeah.
as these new properties get developed, they'll take down those old
beds,
things
yeah.
and get those
I
out of
see,
there.
wow.
Some of the issues were drainage. That's up high up on a hill, and there's concern of potential flooding impacts on some of the properties down below.
Sure.
Some visual impacts and that kind of thing. But so it's a use allowed by right. under the zoning bylaw, it's an educational use.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be denied, but we can certainly work with them to try to minimize the impacts
Yeah,
Impact,
local
sure.
impact. yeah,
on the
yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we'll work with them and
'Cause, I mean,
and
it's really no
the
increase
neighbors.
in cars, right?
But
There's no increase in cars, realistically.
I think they're providing 15 spaces, some bicycle, parking, that kind of thing, but it's not a major traffic impact from this kind of facility.
So technically, it's on their campus.
Yes.
Right. It's not like some off-campus kind of.
Correct, right.
Wow.
Yeah, so fortunately, traffic isn't one of the big impacts.
Right.
Right.
It's more or less moving dorms from point A to point B and
That's right.
restructuring it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it
it's
is interesting. It's my daughter's going to WPI in 20 days or whatever, however long it is, and she was actually talking about she's going to be living on campus, but she had showed me pictures of some off-campus, those big multi-families, like right off, but WPI purchased them and did massive renovation projects and they call them townhouses.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's like maybe for, upperclassmen or things. Maybe, it
They're
is.
more like suites or apartments,
Right.
common, kitchens and things, and 4 to 6 students living
Sure.
in them and that kind of. So looks very nice if you're a student. It'd be the kind of place you'd want to go to.
Right.
Interesting, very interesting. And then, John, I know you had mentioned it looked like they were making some big progress too over at Stevens Mill. Is that, Bill, do we have an update on
the
that?
planning board granted the special permit.
Yep.
They went before the historical commission because there's a bylaw that says if you're going to do any demolition, you either have to wait a year or get permission
Right.
from the historical commission to proceed with the demolition sooner than a year. And so they did that, and the historical commission was very supportive of the project, as granted them. They're doing selective demo, things that some newer additions,
Right.
or things that are just so far gone that can't be repaired, but very minimal
Yeah.
impact on the overall project.
Right.
But it's something that needed to happen so that they could, move forward
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah, I have a meeting with them Thursday on site at 8:30.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, the owners, whoever else is supposed to be there, I don't know. but
Good.
interesting.
See what happens. I
Nice.
believe they've contracted RH White, I think. I don't want to speak out
I
of
believe
context, but
so,
I think they've
yeah.
contracted them to do the build out,
Yeah.
more like design build for the facility, so.
So I think they've got all the local permits that they need. They'll be working with the water sewer department on, the actual connections and that kind of
Utilities,
thing.
right?
But
Yeah.
but there's no hang-ups and no difficulties with that.
Mhm.
We did get a notice of an award from right next to the Stevens Mill. The low pond drains, goes under Mill Street, under the Stevens Mill.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then goes out to the river. So we got $100,000 to do a design to repair that bridge from the outlet of Low Pond to the mill.
Oh, good.
So it's another thing that the town is, a way we can contribute to revitalizing that neighborhood and
Sure.
making
Wow.
it safe and that kind of thing, so.
Great. Awesome. Sounds like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks, Bill. Anything else in regards to any current development activity?
No?
All right, next up, new business. Any open discussion for anybody on the committee? Do you have anything to bring up? Anything going on?
So, as you may have mentioned, Tammy Ducharme has a lot of interest in becoming a member of this committee.
Yep.
She couldn't be here today, she's on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll invite her to the next meeting to talk to the committee about her becoming a member.
Right.
And then the step would be to make a recommendation to the selectmen. I believe it's a joint appointment kind of situation.
right.
So I know when Kelsey, you went through that, it was not too stressful, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
So,
Right. Because you referred Tammy, right?
I did.
Is
Oh,
she
you
a-
did? Oh, okay.
She's a local business owner too, right?
Yeah, so she helps run the 21 West Sports Bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think she worked at WPI
Yeah,
for a while, and she
right.
does like accounting and bookkeeping type work as well.
Nice.
Very
Awesome.
nice, she's very nice.
Great. Very excited to have.
yeah, so that would get us up to full membership
Awesome.
again, which would be nice.
Yep. And just regarding the membership, I know Brian's name is still on here. I have sent him a couple more emails, and I haven't received any
Okay.
word back. So just to give you an update on
Okay.
that. I had one of his
I think-
emails is no longer, he must have changed his email address, but I did have
Okay.
another one,
Okay,
and I haven't received any responses.
I mean,
And
I've
I did leave a
assumed-
voice message as well.
okay,
On his cell phone, so I just haven't heard anything back.
okay.
All right, well, now, I don't know if we want to put on the calendar our next meeting, or if we want to just see when everybody's available, maybe again via online. Or do you want to maybe put something on there for August? Have we already done that?
Well, we've had some flux in terms of our meeting schedule.
Right.
I think we were going to get back to our third Tuesday of the month.
Third Tuesday, yep.
16th?
If that, it seemed to work for most people.
Okay.
So if we do that, that would be August 16th.
Providing that, I know,
So I'll
still send that out, see if, just in regards to vacations and things like that.
exactly, yeah.
Awesome. Well, if anybody doesn't have anything else to add, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
We got a lot done today.
I think we did.
Well, we heard a lot.
We heard a lot, didn't we?
We got a
Alrighty.
lot
It'd be interesting to see
done.
what
All right,
happens.
so,
Thank you for listening to Jim. I think he found it useful to,
oh,
Yeah. No, he's a great kid. Great
yeah,
guy.
he seems like
Yeah.
he's
no, he's,
a good person for this.
He is.
and
Yeah, he's a hustler.
we do a lot at the bank with Glickman, and we also, with Kelleher and Sadowski.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean, if you're dealing with folks that know the market and things like
they
that.
got horsepower in the
they-
market,
They
that's for
do,
sure.
don't they?
Yeah,
I
they
mean, it's
do.
just, and it's interesting, a lot of them are guys just like Jim who are just very, out there, pounding the pavement and things like that, so that's great.
Yeah, he's called me probably 10 times on that mill.
Oh, no kidding.
Has he really?
Oh, yeah. in the
Oh,
last
wow.
So he's
probably 2-3
expecting you at
months.
the auction then?
He asked, he wanted me to buy it a couple times, but I'm like, I know too much about it. I don't want to get involved.
You know?
Well, that'll tell us a lot what happens from that auction.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was
yeah.
that big either.
a big
We're all
is a
set
big
then,
site.
right? Are we off? No. Okay, so we have adjourned. Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion.